चल हो जा शुरू।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
All right, viewers, getting you some more breaking updates coming in right now. Jaishankar paid homage to the victims of the Kanishka bombing, tragic act of Khalistani terrorism, and emphasized a strong message to Canada: never tolerate terrorism. So that is what we are learning of. Let's go straight across to my colleague, senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor. Abhishek, Jaishankar pays tribute to the victims of the Air India flight 182, in which 329 people lost their lives almost 4 decades ago.
Well, yes, Shivangi. So this is an important development. One would say that External Affairs Minister Jaishankar is recalling that terror incident, paying homage to the victims of Kanishka AI-182 bombing. And as you rightly mentioned, all those people, all on board, lost their lives just before landing in London. The flight was coming in from Montreal and was headed to New Delhi via London, and that's when the bombing happened. What is important is that while the Canadian establishment has not yet completed the investigation in that case, Khalistani separatism, with its activism from Canadian soil, has been becoming an issue. Not just for India, but for India-Canada relationship as well. The most emblematic of which is the Hardeep Singh Nijjar murder and the subsequent investigation in which Canada has sought to implicate India. And in fact, in a most preposterous provocation, we saw how the Canadian Parliament held a moment of silence in memory of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, the Khalistani who was killed in a gang war in Canada exactly a year back. India, of course, has warned Canada for playing with fire, because remember, if you play with terror and you allow it to fester on your soil, there is an example of Pakistan and what has happened to them. Canada, obviously, not oblivious to those developments, but then narrow political objectives really guiding their policy. And in that backdrop, the holding of memorial for Hardeep Singh Nijjar was a provocation which was protested to strongly by India. We have seen a frostiness build up in India-Canada relationship over the last 1 year because Canada continues to blame India for India for having some role in Hardeep Singh Nijjar murder, despite the fact that it's been a year and no evidence, direct evidence has been shown. But we have seen a build-up of Khalistani sentiment and activities which are detrimental to India's territorial integrity being allowed to, take roots and prosper. They have taken roots for a while in Canada, but are being allowed visibility to the extent that the security of Indian mission and its staff, including India's High Commissioner there, has been compromised and has forced the Canadian establishment to provide them additional security. So in that backdrop for the External Affairs Minister to be reminding Canada the price you pay of indulging with terror, which Canada already has paid. Remember, a majority of those on that ill-fated Kanishka flight, AI-182, in that summer of 1985, were Canadian citizens, even of Indian origin. So while Canada continues to practice double standards, making a lot of hue and cry about Hardeep Singh Nijjar being a Canadian citizen and finding a role for India in it, which they have not been able to despite 1 year of investigation. Canada, or at least the present establishment there, conveniently forgets that they have failed after almost 4 decades to complete the investigation in Kanishka bombing and hold the guilty to account. So I think in that sense, it becomes very topical. And India, of course, sending across a strong message to Canada to desist from indulging with terror, irrespective of what hue, what religion, what motivation behind those acts of terrorism and intimidation that is being practiced from Canadian soil.